this. Maybe we should take it off. Okay. All right, so thank you so much, everyone, for showing up. Everyone from John David to Claudia that made our delicious sangria. Thank you so much. And always Pat, the constant supporter. And I really want to thank, again, Cruz and Olivia for putting this together. Again, they are super busy. I don't know how 3 people do all of the work that they do, all of the artwork for Texas. But thank you so much for doing this. This is the second time they've been so gracious in opening up their home. So thank you. So I'm going to talk just a little bit kind of about why I'm running, and then talk a little bit about where we are in the race. As you know, we're in a runoff, so very quickly we will know the results of all of our hard work on the 22nd. So with that, I will start with my story. My story starts 40 years ago. 40 years ago, my mother bet on herself and wanted to chase the American dream. She graduated from the #1 university in the Philippines, the #1 university, but really wanted again a chance at the American dream. So she jumped at the chance to come here. That chance was to come here as a domestic helper, because she knew even if she came here in that capacity, if she worked hard, she knew the sky is the limit, because that is the promise of this country, and that is really the story that my younger sister and I grew up every single day hearing. Now, she raised my younger sister and I by herself, and I've said this before, I think there is a special place in heaven for single mothers. That place is open bar. But it wasn't always easy. I mean, reduced lunch, I know why that's important, because I needed it. Subsidized housing, why is that important? Because I needed it at one point, and I know those were all critical investments that took me from John Jay High School, right down the road, to Boston University, right? It was an Air Force ROTC scholarship that allowed me to earn an education. I would then go on to serve in the Air Force as an intelligence officer. I deployed to Iraq. I served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I would serve in the intelligence community, advising on operations in Africa and Latin America. And then I wrapped up my career in the Executive Office of the President, working on economic and national security issues. I'd have to pinch myself though, right, every time I walked into the executive office, because I know there are not a lot of kids. There are not a lot of kids that go from reduced lunch to executive office of the president. I studied hard, I worked hard, but my country, my community invested in me. And so when folks ask me, why are you running? I simply say, I'm running to protect the opportunities that allowed me to grow up healthy, get an education, and serve my country. And so really, I think like many of the folks in the room, the election was a gut check. What does this mean for me as a veteran, as a woman, as a member of the LGBT community, as a first-generation American, but also as somebody that grew up in 78245, right? John Jay High School, you start with 900 kids, only 500 graduate. Obviously, a community of color, lower middle-income families, frankly, a community that would suffer the most under this administration. I think we're seeing that every single day. And I talk a lot about opportunities because I think at the end of the day, a member of Congress does 3 things. They create opportunities, they protect opportunities, or they erase opportunities, right? They do that with their voting record, and they do that with their record of silence. And as you and I are seeing every single day, that silence is just as dangerous as that vote. And I know that because I have served in countries in that uniform. I have served in countries where women and minorities are targeted. I have served in countries where government's disregard for conflict of interest has hollowed out those countries. And I've served in countries where you know what happens when good people don't stand up, when institutions are under attack. So, I made the decision to serve again. And I very much look forward, frankly, to being the first woman that ever represents this district in Congress. One of my earliest memories, I was not quite as young as John David, but I was pretty young. One of my earliest memories is quizzing my mom on her naturalization test, right? And it's why to this day I know Patrick Henry said, "Give me liberty or give me death." And I would come to find out that I would never have to take that test. But I think you and I know, and I think it's partly why you're here, that you and I are being tested, right? We're being tested as Texans. We're being tested as Americans. What does this mean? What does this mean for our present? What kind of future does Patrick and John David, what kind of future do they deserve, the next generation of Americans? So for me, answering that question meant, again, stepping up again to protect the opportunities that allowed me to grow up healthy, get an education, and serve my country. So where are we in this race, right? So March 6th, we took 41% of the vote in a 5-way primary. The next person took 17%. So we are in a runoff, and tomorrow is the last day of early voting. If you haven't already voted, go vote. Like, go now. Go now. No, tomorrow's the last day of early voting, and then obviously, the big day is on Tuesday. So, please make plans to vote. Tell your friends to vote. It's just too important. When I think about what's at stake, right? When I think about what is at stake, it is, frankly, I am running against. It's funny because I talk to folks and they're like, "Oh, you're running against Will Hurd, and he's not that bad." And I'm like, I don't know about that actually. And so I say, look, I am running, frankly, against somebody that has voted for the wall twice. I am running against somebody that has voted to deny dreamers the ability to serve in our military. I am running against somebody that has challenged the constitutionality of DACA. I am running against somebody that has voted 9 times to deny women, anybody, access to quality healthcare. Now, granted, he got permission to write the vote the right way, but again, I argue, do you look at, in your personal life, do you look at what somebody did to you 9 times or just 1 time? So there is a lot at stake at this race, and it starts with, again, taking back our country in November 2018. So I very much am thankful for you coming out today and spending some time. And I've chatted with many of you. I look forward to continue chatting with you further. Again, this is a test. This is a test, and I hope we are able to answer it because they are watching us. And this is, again, about Patrick. This is about John David, but this is also about the many people that know that that about fulfilling the promise. Again, the promise that made my mother bet on herself and come here as a young person and put everything on the line. I'm here to protect the promise of this country. So thank you so much for spending time with us this afternoon, this evening, and please have some more sangria. It's delicious. Thanks.
Tell us the boundaries of the district.
Yeah.
So anybody that has, I know my cousins and Mondo, I'm sending them all an email because I
Perfect.
found out Medina County is.
That's right. So Pat's always keeping me on track here. There are 29 counties in this district. This district goes from San Antonio to El Paso. So it's interesting, if you look at a map of 1604, this district has kind of that northwest part of the district, so Chavano Park area, and then goes all the way around to that southwest part of the district. And then it goes all the way to El Paso, right? 538 miles across. So this then also includes, and then goes down to the border. So Del Rio, Uvalde, Eagle Pass, 40% of the US border is in this district. So there are, there's a lot of issues at stake, that matter most in this district, a majority-minority district. So all 29 counties, but again, it is from San Antonio all to El Paso and everything in between. Okay. Thank you so much, and on to victory.
Yeah, Gina.